hello, and welcome to the Walmer CC podcast. We are back, season 2022. As you will see, if you're watching the video, I am joined by the one and only Eoin McGrath. And of course, Lawrence Marsh is here. He's our first guest. Before I get on to introducing them, if you could like, rate and review this podcast through your podcast provider, that would be great. If you're watching the YouTube video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that old toss. And we have a Buy Me a Coffee set up to support the podcast. It will just help keep it going. You can log on to www.buymeacoffee.com and donate anything up to £5 if you so wish. Good evening, Eoin. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, thank you, Stu. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for coming back. Lawrence Marsh, your first time on the podcast. How are you, sir? Looking very tanned, I might say.
Thank you very much, Stu. Yeah, just got back from Tenerife, so hola. Hola
to you, senor. I was going to run a humorous introduction regarding a winter where the Ashes went to shit, and as did Manchester United, but I'm not going to. What we are actually going to do, we're going to start the podcast off on a slightly sadder note, but I think local cricket, that's what we're here about. And we lost a bit of a good one. A good friend of mine, actually, Dave Scoggins, passed recently after a very brave battle with cancer. I considered Dave a very good friend, as did many others. I used to go on golfing holidays with him, and he put up with some ridiculous behaviour from myself and Mr. Cookson, always with a smile on his face, and never once reprimanded us on anything. I did consider looking at Dave's statistics online, but then I don't think that would have done the man any justice whatsoever. He was more than a statistic, Lawrence. He skippered you at Dover in, shall we say, your prime, potentially your younger years. Could you just give us a few words on the man that he was?
Yeah, because Scoggs was there when sort of me and Stuart were there. Really nice chap, good opening bat. He bowled a few left arm pies at times, but just a great bloke to be around.
Yeah, I mean that's what he was. He brought joy to the room. Absolutely. When he walked in, and he did everything with a smile on his face. One of my final memories of a healthy Dave Scoggins was lycra clad on the back roads, moaning at me for driving my car while he was probably cycling 100 miles. So rest in peace, Dave, and our thoughts, of course, to his family, his friends, and all those guys at Sandwich CC who I'm sure will miss him.
Multi-coloured blazers.
Yeah. Let's move on to some slightly more positive news. We're back. This is going to be we're looking at probably going to do every 2 weeks this year. Eoin, you're a bit busy now. I'm a bit busy. We don't want to rush things. And I think every couple of weeks, if we can get an hour, that'll give us plenty of cricket to review, Eoin. So talk to us, Eoin. You're going to skipper you're going to skipper Saturday first team, aren't you?
Yeah, I am this year moving forward.
Yeah. So just give us some early thoughts on that. The mindset you've moved from Sunday scraping an 11 together, should we say, to now being head of the ship, the club figurehead, really, Saturday skipper. How do you feel about it? And just give us some brief thoughts on what you hope for this coming season, mate.
Yeah, Hermione's labelled herself the number one wag in the cricket club as well now. It's pathetic.
Oh, right, yeah. Wag wars. Yeah.
No.
Vardy versus Rooney.
Managed to get a first team captain after an 18% win rate for the Sunday first team last year.
Well, yeah, but I think you're certainly the way you skippered, shall we say, a ragtag side at times, thrown together with with how last year was.
I'm looking forward to this year. It'd be good to get stuck in. Hopefully, get a good turnout at indoor nets this Saturday, which is the first time that's happened for a couple of years, and hopefully just get a bit of a culture shift and culture change. Try and get a bit more like semi-professional while still hopefully enjoying it. We've got it always looks positive now, doesn't it? like it's a knock-on effect, it's a domino effect, isn't it? If we win the first few games, there'll be a buzz around the club, new clubhouse, get the Colts involved, thriving in the twos, and then fingers crossed. Just like I said, just kind of has that domino effect, that hierarchy within the club. We all kind of chip in, all contribute. And fingers crossed, we start training, start turning up and looking like a bit of an outfit. All turn up, fingers crossed. We just see how it goes, mate. There's a Ross will probably know a bit more in depth than me. There's a restructuring in the Kent League happening at the end of this season, so there's a bit more onus and emphasis on us to try at least finish top 5, top 6. To sit, because then I think the bottom 5 from Div 4 and the top 5 from 5 kind of congregate into another league. But looking forward to running the sleeves up and getting going, mate. There we go, dog.
I think what we talked about it so much last year, didn't we? And it goes sort of a podcast I did with Phil recently. You sort of, as a club, potentially need to adopt that sort of attitude of, with regards to training. Ideally, if you put that effort in, the training might not reflect in the results in week 1 or 2, but if you can get a core of guys, if you adopt in that sort of Team Sky principle, Team Ineos that they are now, the sort of minimal gains, if you can get guys training for 12 to 16 weeks, they will, and you will see the rewards. But if you stop training after the first league game doesn't quite go as well as it does, we all know, we saw what happened last year, didn't we? So Loz, Owen just mentioned it. Could you give us a slightly more detailed sort of description of what's going to happen within the Kent League? Are you in a position to explain that for us, Loz?
Well, the Kent League and Kent Regional League are all going to go into one now.
Yeah.
So there's, and Andy Greig's the one who's seen it all. So whether we'll be paired up like with, for instance, Broad says 2 sandwich 2s. I've not really taken too much look into that really at the moment until. So it is going to go under one umbrella. Okay,
that's good. So potentially less travelling, more local cricket.
That's what it is. It will be regionalised.
Excellent. So I mean that is probably a huge positive. I know. Well, when I was playing cricket, when I started playing cricket 25 years ago at Worth, I mean we were playing. Westgate, Cliftonville were the distances to travel we'd be playing. It was good competitive cricket within a 25, 30-minute drive. And you'd get strong sides out. And the way diesel costs are going now, I don't think anyone wants to drive to Bexley Heath or Catford every other weekend.
I think COVID changed a lot of people's views as well about how much time they spend away. And like I played Kent League for 30 years now, and you don't mind travelling an hour and a half if you play at a nice ground, nice pitch, good opposition, nice tee, for instance. But it's when you turn up to not very nice grounds, etc. Which are there quite around the London area. It makes the day long and not enjoyable. So I think it's the best thing they can do, Kent League. I think they've listened to people as well.
Cool. Well, that's what we want. One thing I probably should have, let's go back to it. That's hopefully good positive move for the club and all the other local clubs. Owen, we announced you as the new Saturday skipper. Are there any great changes? Are there any more sort of changes within personnel? Who's going to run your Sunday side now, Owen?
I think so. I think Graham North's going to do the 2s, I believe.
Saturday 2s.
Yeah. I think obviously Graham's done that in the past and ended up playing like 15 first. So we're trying, like I said, we just got to kind of get consistent. It's just what I said last year, but if we can get a consistent 8 or 9, that means Graham can play 2s. Hopefully that means the 2s will then strengthen. Cuts are a year older.
Yeah.
So they're going to mature. They've matured like physically, they've matured a bit mentally. And then I think the staple gun is taken on the reins of the Sunday first team, which is nice.
Oh, the man who always delivers.
But yeah, exactly, the postman. But I think we have dropped out of the Kent Village League on Sundays, which is a shame, but hopefully it will promote like promote us more. We won't be turning up to, like Loz said, to the I don't know, West Kent on a Sunday with two cooks, a dad, Trev,
Yeah,
and a couple more people. So that should be a bit more localised. And
so a Sunday of friendly fixtures.
Yeah,
I think that's how it's looking, mate. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
need to strike the balance, don't we? Because the issue with our first team last year is that everyone was rocking up on a Saturday, barely having any match practice and expecting to bang runs or get wickets on a Saturday. So Sundays do have their place and they are important still. Do you know what I mean? So, and we can't leave Mix to do it on his own. But I think the kind of structure at the club's looking all right. AB is now running the Colts full time, I believe. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Okie dokes. Let's talk about this podcast briefly. And, you know, me and you were the regulars last year. I think if we are, Loz, it seemed to have a pretty good response last year and added a slightly different fun dynamic to within the club. We were sort of getting
absolutely.
30 or 40 listens a week, which is quite good. We
got
hope
relegated, but we had a podcast.
Sorry?
We got relegated and lost all the cricket games, but we had a fucking top-notch podcast.
Yeah, well, I checked before we came on air, and we are still the number one rated podcast in Southeast Kent as with regards to local cricket. So you can't argue with that.
No.
What we do.
I just wanted to sort of ask, Owen, I thought, is there anything that I really enjoyed last year? And I haven't listened back to the podcast in completion or haven't listened back over all of them, but I did catch up on the Jared Bond 3 minutes of him explaining to us his burning of the cricket gear. Now, I don't know why that sticks in my mind, and I still don't know if we've got to the bottom of if he ever actually did do it. But for me, that's what sort of stuck out. We had some other, you know, great guests. We had all three Milroys join us, and of course, Graham North came on and gave a very, very good podcast. And he's going to come on. He's going to be the second guest in a couple of weeks' time.
Nice.
But anything that stood out for you, Owen, or was it just the general crack? I mean, we sort of had the North fantasy single wicket, didn't we? Anything that jumps to mind? Put you on the spot there.
You probably covered quite a few, but there was quite a few Northisms. There was quite a few Bondisms that stick out.
Butlerisms.
There's a few Butlerisms. I mean,
and quite a few McGraw-isms. The amount of times I said "mate" in our first thing, I was a nervous wreck. I was like, "What's going on, mate?"
I think,
but yeah, it's good stuff.
I think going forward, probably I'm going to try not to mention the North's massive cocks too much this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to be PC in case any students seen this, and I've already sworn twice. So
okay, so no more long slong in the North shower jokes. No more mates from Owen, and hopefully, I mean, I hope if we can, I hope to sit down and record every couple of weeks. But I also think if we can get a few player profiles going, it might be quite good fun. Little 20-minute pieces.
I think we should try and get some match reports done by Paul North for spectators that we can read out, because he always used to put them on Play Cricket, didn't he? And
yeah,
I sit off and see the North ratings. So I remember crying once when I got like 40, and he gave me a 5 and wrote this piece calling me a nosebleed batsman on my number 3.
Well, I mean, Paul North as offering some regular thoughts on the podcast would be fantastic, even if it was submitted to me in written form, or we got someone to read Paul's thoughts, or he might even want to pre-record his thoughts and send it in a sort of audio form. Loz, anything that stood out for you last year, or was it just a bit fun to sort of catch up with me and Owen wittering on each week?
Well, I was trying to listen to Owen, how he run me out all the time, or try to run me out.
The Rod Cotton
every time he middled the ball, he said yes.
Well, he doesn't middle it that often. Well, he probably did last year.
But yeah. I just enjoyed it. Listened to it last year.
Well, we hope to sort of bring a bit more. We hope if we go every other week, we hope to be able to sort of bring some slightly better planned content. Believe it or not, this was planned, and I'm already completely off plan tonight. Let's go to a bit of your speciality, Lawrence, and this isn't going to be the boring bit of the podcast. We're going to try and make something interesting out of pre-season preparations. I know I don't know cricket very well, but I know grass. If that doesn't get your juices flowing on this podcast, I don't know what will. But there's a bit more to it, Lawrence. We won't go into too much depth, but it's not just a case of you jumping on your mower the week before the season starts, is it? There's a bit more. I did email, but I couldn't get anyone from the ECB to come on. So it's down to you, Lawrence. Can you give us a sort of a 2-3 minute overview of what is good? You know, what are we, a month away from the first fixture?
Yeah.
What's your time scale with regards to outfield and wicket prep, Lawrence?
Very quickly, cricket rolling of the squares starts about 6 weeks before the season.
Yeah.
At the lightest weight and as quick as possible. Then I gradually add weight each week. Like I'm doing at the minute. Before about a week before the season, the rollers at full weight, slow speed, but you never roll the way you do during the summer. So you do it crossways and diagonally. So then the first week of the season, you then start rolling normally. The outfield is cut. I cut it today. It's probably about 18 mil, which will be reduced down next week to about 13 mil. And every sort of week, the outfield gets a roll with a heavy roller. So today, today I marked out our 11 pitches as in where they are. That's where it is. That's it's a very sort of mundane. It's not in hours for a rolling. It's done in passes. So every time we go up and down is one pass of the same bit. Yeah. So I try and do 2 passes 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. Quite meticulous. It's quite Just have to keep away at it.
It's just to get compression, get the air out of the soil so it compacts, and that gives you a base for the summer.
And is that why the pitches are always quite slow at the start of the year? I take it.
That's damp. It's just because of dampness. If you look at all the first class games, they play county championship beginning of the year, and all their pitches are sort of green seamers because you just can't get the moisture out of the ground.
Okay. You can't get the moisture out of the ground at 6 degrees.
No.
Air temperature. Potentially, if you've had a hot one, you might be sitting at the same under the soil. Potentially, it might be sitting a bit colder. So you're basically really, you're trying to do the opposite of what I'm trying to do at work, really. I'm trying to create a firm putting surface, but I need room underneath for that grass to get the roots into the airspace, really. But you're not particularly bothered about, you need live grass, but you're not particularly bothered about growing grass, are you? Because I produce a surface of live grass, and yours is slightly live, but it's more about the rolling and the mowing for you, isn't it?
Yeah, the live grass does make it seam around, and in the old days, our ground used to be very rapid because the live grass and a lot, whereas now with the square got relayed, it's made it a much more better surface.
Yeah, and is Andy Chapman still doing the end of season renovations?
Yeah. So they come in sort of first week of October, lay it to bed, cut it, scarify it, reseed it, fertilise it. Then they come in various times during the winter. For instance, when I'm working, they will then spike it, fertilise it, mow it, and I take back over sort of like third week of February, where I start cutting the square down. But it's imperative that they've got the right machinery, they've got the right time. Yeah. And it helps with the pitch during the summer.
So anyone listening, I mean, we don't have to worry about jobs that we don't do, but if we could open people's eyes and ears to the fact that it isn't just a case of going and cutting the outfield once a week and cutting the pitch, there is a lot more to it. And hopefully, people can sort of chip in and help you along the way.
And to the cost as well, Stu, you think putting the ground to sleep in October is looking at probably a couple of thousand. Then looking for all the mowers have to be serviced, reset at the right heights of cut. So there's always that, and especially if I break something. Which happens sometimes.
And it's this work that you put in now, and you put in the hours now, obviously in the hope that that first game is, the wicket is in as good condition as you can get it for the time of year. Yeah, we all know it's not easier to produce a wicket in July, but in a sense it is, because hopefully you've got the temperature. Hopefully, you're working with more compact ground that you've put the hours in to get to. But we just wanted to cover one thing, and I know it might be slightly controversial, and our good friend Andy Furness might have something to say here, but I just wanted to point out a bit of a groundsman's union here. You don't want to cancel any cricket games, do you, Lawrence?
No, not at all.
When it rains on a Thursday and it rains a bit on a Friday and then it's quite warm on a Saturday, we're not cancelling cricket games. Right. But if we play cricket games on a underprepared wicket or a wet wicket, you're not going to be playing the cricket games in 2 weeks. It's as simple as that. And I know people pay their annual subs and the cricket season can be short, but I mean, Owen, you'll probably, hopefully you'll agree. I mean, Lawrence is placed in a position of, authority within, the club, and any groundsman. They don't cancel cricket games for the fun of it, do they, Owen? Although we like to think they do sometimes.
I just think back to last season. We had
awful
with a lot of rain last year, didn't we? Like in abundance as well. Like you'd think about, and I'd be up there Friday night putting like covers and putting tables and chairs on top of the cover to try and keep it down. And then you get there on Saturday and your work just feels redundant, and it's so infuriating at times. But like I said, I've come around more to the fact, like you turn up on Sunday and the pitch would just be mud, and we'd just be like, what are we doing? Like, we try and make something out of nothing here, really. Do you know what I mean? And
health and safety as well.
Yeah, it does. It does frustrate me. It's like, I do think cricket can be a bit weak at times, and I know that there's a bit of like chat from pundits about when does cricket start playing in like rain. But like you said, I don't really think if you're at the upper echelons of the game, like us Herberts on a Saturday or Sunday, can really play. Like you think about, what do we have at our disposal? Not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you've got 5,000 to 8,000 fans in a ground paying £40 to £60 a ticket, and a team of 20 to 25 groundsmen to then repair the outfield and the wicket, and you've got a square that might consist of up to 20 wickets, you've probably got an obligation. You may even have some form of contractual obligation to try and keep that cricket on. I think sometimes international or professional cricket doesn't do itself any favors, particularly when, you see people coming off with 2 million quid's worth of floodlights that they choose not to put on.
It's mad, isn't it? Like
that's but I think when we're talking Walmer CC and we're talking volunteers, let's just think, Andy Furness, please don't stop your social media posts because they bring me huge delight. But let's have a little thought for all the groundsmen out there this coming season. Let's move.
Sorry, Stu, that's not. I want them to play as many games as they can, but as long as it's safe.
Yeah.
And it makes it enjoyable. But when you're playing on an absolutely sodden pitch,
it's crap,
and you're trying to bat, the ball is just going to go through the top, and it's just going to be a minefield. So, again,
an average killer.
So
we'll finish on the ground. There will be a Club Force Day. We don't have a date for it yet, do we, Loz? But that will be the day when members' wives, members' husbands, members' boyfriends, members' unborn children, they'll all be expected up there to try and push and get things ready to go for that first home game of the season.
The dosses are at Club Force Day, I'll tell you that much. You see, he doesn't want to.
We'll move away from the green side of the pitch. Little clubhouse update for us, Loz. End of March. Are we still on schedule for the new and improved clubhouse?
I think I spoke to Andy up there yesterday, looking around, and I think they're just waiting for Chai to put the tiles on the roof now. They've knocked through. Andy's got the carpet tiles to do the whole of the area with the carpet tiles. Phil's been into the ladies' toilet and put a new, a vanity thing or whatever in there. So it is progressing well, I believe.
Good.
So it's all, yeah. We're just waiting for.
And
I still think it's. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I was going to say, what's that going to allow? Because I haven't actually seen the plans. Is it just going to allow more open space, or is there changing room facilities being upgraded? Or what's gone on?
There's a huge extra area now where the patio used to be, or the old entrance. That's now a huge area with massive bifolding doors, so they open up so you can sit and watch the cricket from there. It just opens up so many different avenues. Quizzes, race nights, the darts, outside functions. I know Deal Hockey Club want to use it for their presentation night in a few weeks' time, and it's a better sort of, with the quiz. We've only got a certain area we can use.
Yeah.
With this, it's just a vast area. The ladies' toilets, the ladies' change rooms has now got a radiator in, so it's just improving sort of all the time at the moment.
Great stuff. And you mentioned the darts. I had a message from Mr. Darts, Graham North. The men's winter team, I assume, have been crowned Division 1 champions. And he asked me to mention that the ladies play tonight with the potential to win the ladies Division 1. So it seems like the darts teams are doing well. And Eoin, fantastic winter revenue for the club. I expect to see all you first teamers decked out in swanky new gear with all this revenue the darts are bringing in.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it, mate? Bit of free stash every now and then wouldn't go amiss. But hey ho, I'm sure it's going on the roof tiles, and it will be put to good use. maybe we get a new bar next year. You never know. That's a bit dated, isn't it?
New kitchen.
Any update on the overseas? Is it a touchy subject? I mean, I actually spoke to the proposed overseas because I was going to get him on for a bit of a secret pod, and he disclosed to me that there were some visa issues. How are we looking, Loz? Where are we at?
He's been replaced now.
Oh, gone. You're gone.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll see you later in the bin.
Unfortunately, things didn't work out with Nick, but now we've just waiting for the visa from a chap called Cody Neerveld, which is South African.
I wonder why he kept getting suggested to me on Facebook.
Yes, 20-year-old batsman bowler. He plays for a club called Belleville CC, Western Province in Cape Town. They're a massive club. They got 5 senior teams, 4 juniors, of which he coaches their under-13s. So,
and he plays first grade, doesn't he?
I think so, mate. Yes, he is well into his training. So he's already asked for like training facilities and such like.
Is that boozing facilities?
No, I think he's very serious about his cricket, like I am.
He's going to have a culture shock coming over here. I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of work to do.
I think we talked about Justin DeBella, and he was, he was Walmer CC's first player, and potentially he set the bar a little bit too high, maybe, but that will only be good if we've got a young man coming over who's concentrating more on his batting and fielding and bowling rather than.
He's very, very enthusiastic. So again, he's all the paperwork signed. Just waiting for him to sort his visa out, which hopefully 3 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, I spoke to him today. I know Ali spoke to him.
So he's going to stay with you, Loz?
Yeah.
Wow, very good, excellent stuff.
If that's 3 to 6 weeks, should he hopefully be here for the first?
Hopefully, mate. Yeah.
So what kind of thing?
Well, we got about 5-6 weeks to the season.
Well, we play.
Leagues.
We play our first league games the 30th of April. We're a week before, aren't we?
So he's going to let us know as soon. Everything's ready. Really nice young lad. And,
great stuff. I mean, that is hugely promising.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Great stuff. All right. What else have we got to get onto here? Future of the podcast. Anyone listening or watching, we're always after guests. We had some fantastic guests last year. But please put your name forward. Graham North is going to come on again, but he's going to talk us through his hopes for the twos, and we'll probably have a bit of darts chat. But we want some new guests. Nothing against the Milroys. They were staples last year. We'll have all the Milroys back on at some point. We may have a Milroy special maybe. But if you want to come on the podcast, you're always welcome. You know, we're on Zoom now, but we don't have to put the video out. You know, you could come on and chat to us on Zoom, and then we'll just take the audio. I think we've pretty much covered everything I wanted to go over tonight, gentlemen. Eoin McGrath, have you got anything you want to add for this sort of first little podcast of the new season?
No, nothing too much. Just hopefully see everyone at Indoor Nets at Goodwin Academy on Saturday. That will be good to see you there. And then, yeah, fingers crossed we get the go ahead to get some outdoor training early April. And then, yeah, we generally do like a little club force day. That's generally, and then after that, we generally have like a bit of a outdoor net for the first time and get cracking, because we need to hit the ground running really, because like I said, our first league game is the 30th of April, so we're a week earlier than most of the Kent League this year.
Okay.
That's at home to Gore Court, mate, and then the fixtures come thick and fast. I don't think we've got any rest weeks until the actual end of the season. Sorry?
End of the season, isn't it?
We finish a week early, which is like the 30th of August. But yeah, we're literally right through, mate, this year. So no rest for the wicked, and yeah, that's
and
all.
Are we set for umpires?
Yeah, luckily we've Melvin Harvey's found someone, I believe, so he should be in for every home game and nearby away game. So we've got Simpson Park in our league, Ash, a couple of other people that are really close. Yeah, Robinson. So there's only a couple that are like an hour plus. So fingers crossed, mate. Like I said,
fantastic.
Everything seems to be in the pipeline. We just got to crack on and do the business now, boy.
Right, Lawrence. Anything you'd like to add? Anything I haven't mentioned, or anything you'd like to mention?
I think so, Stu. To be honest, just look forward to a new season.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to. I will get out and play a one Sunday fixture, because I promised Eoin 2 last year, so I'm going to have to do something. Like I said, no more Northy massive knob jokes.
It is big though.
And here's to a fantastic season going forward. Like I say, if you are listening or watching this, please like, rate, and review the podcast. If you are a sponsor of Walmer CC or want to drop me a little private message, we will happily run an advert or two. We will happily promote anything for the Colts, obviously for a bit of protection. You know, talking Colts cricket, we won't use any names or anything, but if there's anything that we could get out to promote the Colts or the junior sections, we will happily do that. We'll pretty much happily do anything. So like I say, like, rate, review. Hopefully I'll be able to secure the first Walmer CC player profile. I haven't got anyone I had the previous overseas lined up for that. I won't tap into Cody because that's giving the game away. But gentlemen, thank you so much. Loz, thank you for making your debut on the Walmer CC podcast. Eoin, my co-host, thanks as always for coming along. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening. And I guess it's a bit of a come on, you Walmer boys, and let's have a good season. Thanks a lot, gents.
Cheers, Stu.